Coming up next, Cisco.
Welcome to a network where being here is being there. Welcome to the Human Network.
Tim, I so wanted to play the race card, but I didn't know which one to play.
I didn't really think race entered into this. I think it was more the connecting of two nations over this new technology. But what got me about it is that it's a staring contest. It's completely passive. It's inside. It's even worse than playing computer games with other people. So you're just staring at each other and using all this technology to do it. And it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, screw soccer. Staring contests are going to be the international sport in the future. So it just this one didn't turn my crank.
Margaret, are they searching for a practical application?
Presumably, and as a sort of utopian idea about what this technology can offer in terms of global fraternity, yeah, I'm all for that. As an educator, I've used those sort of classroom technologies. I think they're fabulous. I do find it interesting that we now figure global fraternity as a competition. Right? That's the only way that these kids find to communicate with each other.
Very odd.
What I thought was interesting was, here you've got this big screen, so that the two the kids in the two different classrooms. So what teacher leaves the big screen on, right? I mean, this seems like it's got to be a fairly expensive technology to just
brown eyes at each other.
And, so they're leaving it on, and instead of having sort of the, what are you learning there, what are we learning, because presumably they're doing this because the kids in the two places can communicate. They speak the same language, right? So that's certainly a requirement. But instead they're saying, maybe they can't communicate. So what do kids do in, this kind of situation? They play stupid games, right? The staring game. Okay.
That's right. Well, and I think that it's key that they are playing a Pacific game. I mean, the metaphor of somebody blinking often comes up when you're dealing with international conflict. For example, if you're talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis, you'd say Khrushchev blinked, something along those lines. And I also think the more absurd, the better, I think is what they're saying. That is, this technology will link us together globally in a kind of playful way. And I think that when people can play together, they often come into much closer cultural coordination and coherence.
It's the all-important power play. But is this embarrassment goes global?
But what I'm curious about, and I don't know because I'm an American and, there we are, but is this a game that transcends, do kids in, Asia play this as, is that a common game, right? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'd actually think, since it's a game you can play with nothing, just with two people at a table.
No explanation, no language.
I'd think it might be almost universal.
I agree, but I don't know.
I don't know either. That's just supposition.
Suspect, you do find yourself wondering during this ad, what would they really, really be doing? And, doing Moonies to each other as well. They were American kids. But I also imagine they'd probably be sitting there, looking at each other and thinking, God, their classroom really sucks.
Or look, they have to wear a uniform.
Yeah. They
don't have to wear.
They both had something like 42-inch plasma TVs in their classrooms. I don't think they're whining too much about it.
But we may not be able to name a universal game across cultures. It does seem to me, though, that maintaining eye contact with somebody is a way of signaling equality.
It is.
I mean, certainly, in the ancient times, even, we'll go to Pharaoh or something, you actually spoke in Pharaoh's presence, profile to Pharaoh, never looking directly. And we have this in the monarchs that are remaining with us. And also, I think that just even in commercial exchanges with somebody, if you maintain eye contact, that's very disclosive. And also, the vulnerability and the nature of your personality is very invested in your facial expressions. How present are you? So I think
and
it's
much more difficult to contrive.
That's right.
Okay.
And it's interesting, isn't it? At the beginning of that ad, it's us that's being stared at. And it's not until quite a way into the ad that we realize that those two children are staring at each other.
Yeah,
So there's the sense in which we are supposedly implicated in this game of trust
Right.
that happens between the children.
I may be an idiot, but I didn't get that it was a staring contest until the second time I watched it. I had no idea what was going on. Well, they're cheering him on, and now somebody won. What?
At the end of the commercial, it uses the phrase "the human network." And I think that the companies that are going to prosper are the companies that really understand the human operating system, which can be explained very simply. We think at 200 words a minute. We speak at 200 words a minute, but we think at 600 words a minute. And the companies that can understand how to get people to influence themselves are the ones that are really going to prosper. Anyway, time for our exit question. The kid who flinched, what will be his career? Margaret.
He's not going to be a superhero now, is he?
April.
He's going to run Coke.
Charles.
Not a politician.
Tim.
He's going to be permanently mentally scarred from this crushing international loss. He's going to start torturing small animals, lighting fires, and grow up to be a serial killer. And you can bank on
Oh,
that.
man, that's so
Sure.
sad.
Sure.
But I think at least he'll have a career. The kid who didn't look either way, he better watch out for buses.